I'm convinced that what we believe will greatly influence the way that we view the world. Our values dictate who we are and the way that we live our lives. This last lecture is a chance to look at the world from my point of view. I'm Shayna LL, and these are the concepts of my heart. When I was younger, my dad asked me, Shayna, when it's all said and done, what did you do? And how do you want people to remember you? And so I thought about that and came up with a list of things I wanted people to say about me when I was gone. I wanted them to say that I was a dreamer, that I was someone who had integrity, that I was optimistic and loved everyone everywhere I knew how. And so then I thought, well, how do I get that to happen? I decided that the way I want people to remember me is the way I must live my life now. If I want people to say that I'm a dreamer, I have to be a dreamer. If I want people to say that I had integrity, I must have integrity. So the way that you want people to remember you is the way that you need to live your life every day. I'm convinced that one of the greatest things we will ever do in this life is love people. Gandhi said fair means alone will produce fair results. So to me that means we're either going to love fairly or we're going to love greatly. The impact you make on someone's life is greatly dependent on your capacity to love. One of my favorite phrases is love until it hurts and then love more. I remember when I was in the 7th grade, I got the amazing opportunity to go on a missions trip to Christiana, Jamaica. We stayed in an orphanage for a week, and the first day we got there, it was really exciting, and we were going around introducing ourselves. There was one little girl who was specifically secluding herself from the rest of the group. So I went over to her and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Shayna, what's your name?" And she just gave me a blank stare. I was like, okay. So I tried again. "Hi, I'm Shayna, what's your name?" And she said, "I don't have a name." And I was convinced that names were a universal thing, so I asked one more time, "What's your name? How old are you?" And she said, "It doesn't matter," and walked away. And I was like, okay. I was really hurt by that because I was going out of my way to be nice, and she totally rejected me. So later that night, I went and asked one of the missionaries. I said, "That little girl that was setting herself apart today, what was her name?" He said, "That's Merlene." And I said, "Why wouldn't she just tell me that?" And he said, "Shayna, the people that gave her that name are the ones that hurt her the most. The people that named her, her parents, were the ones that also abandoned her and told her she was worthless and gave her up to random strangers to raise her." And I thought, I cannot imagine being so hurt by people that I didn't even want to tell them my name because I was afraid of letting them get that close. So my goal that entire week was to love that little girl like she'd never been loved before. And that's exactly what I did. And at the end of the week, she said, "Shayna, I'm so glad that I not only told you my name, but that you cared enough to find out. Because now we're sisters. And no matter where we are or how far apart we are, you will always be my sister." I also think that love has no conditions. Merlene didn't have anything to give back to me at first. At the end, she gave back her love. But what if people don't have anything to give back? They still deserve to be loved. I think a lot of times in society now, we fall in love because of conditions. You see these super young girls marrying these old guys for their money and nothing else. Love doesn't have a hidden agenda, and I think that's something that we need to remember. I am a firm believer in dreaming big. I think that dreams give our lives purpose, and there should never be a point in life where we stop dreaming, because then what happens to the purpose of our lives? I don't think that any dream is impossible if you have the heart and the motivation to go after it. Learn to appreciate. Up here, this is my mom's house, and it's huge, and it's full of stuff that I never use. And that over there is a house in Ecuador, and it's nothing. I wouldn't even make my dog live in those conditions. That place is one windstorm from being blown over and being nothing. They have dirt floors, they don't have a refrigerator, they don't have microwaves, they have nothing. They don't have beds or TVs or all the things that we are constantly worried about. We in America are consumers. We're constantly wanting the newest thing. I want the new iPhone, and I want new clothes, and I want this and that. And we never take time to step back and look at all the things that we have that we don't even deserve. We never take a step back and look at how blessed we are. We walk into our kitchen, and we pull something out of the fridge and put it in the microwave, and it's done. They can't do that because they don't even have food. I think it's really important to learn how to appreciate. Yes, I do plan on changing the world. Gandhi said that you must be the change you wish to see in the world. You know, earlier I talked about dreams, and this is one of my dreams. I want to go to each country and somehow help them. I think it's important to care about something or someone other than yourself. There is an entire world of people out there, billions of people, and a lot of times we're only focused on one. You know, if you ever get the opportunity to travel, I would say do it. I love traveling and experience other cultures and getting an awakening to realize how much I actually have and how much of it I don't deserve. But I think it's also important not just to travel the world, but to change the world around you. You know, what are you doing in Pickerington? What are you doing in Ohio or in the United States? I went to Jamaica, and that is a picture of me in Jamaica, and I talked about being the change. You know, in Jamaica, they were orphans who had never been loved. So in Jamaica, I was the change of hope and of love. And in Ecuador, I went to work my butt off for people that I didn't even know. You know, in Ecuador, I was the change of sacrifice and of selflessness. Like I said earlier, you don't have to go to another country to change the world. I often struggle with what change am I in the United States? You know, what am I doing in my school or in my city or in my state? What am I here? I want to be the change of love and of hope and of sacrifice and of selflessness. But instead of just wanting to be that, I must be. Because anyone can go to another country and do great things, but only someone who really is determined to change the world will do great things right where they are. Where the concepts of my heart came from. This is my dad, and he is the most important person in my life. My dad really poured into me and placed these dreams that I have in my heart for as long as I can remember. You know, he's paved the way for me to go to these other countries and to do these things and really experience life from a whole other point of view. I will never be able to thank him enough for the influence he's had on my life. So lastly, just to recap, you know, live the way that you want to be remembered. Love unconditionally. Love until it hurts and then love more. Love without a hidden agenda. And lastly, be the change everywhere you go.